and welcome to Nonprofit Enthusiast Live, the weekly sessions where we talk about all things nonprofit. Whether you're a seasoned nonprofit professional or just getting started in the industry, these lives are for you. Our mission is to provide engaging and informative conversations with experts in the nonprofit world, sharing insights, strategies, and stories that can help you make a difference in your community and beyond. Each episode is centered around a theme for the month. The topics include anything from fundraising and marketing to volunteer management and board development. We'll explore the challenges facing nonprofits today and share practical tips and advice for overcoming them. But Nonprofit Enthusiast Live isn't just about learning. We also want to create a community of like-minded individuals who are passionate about making a positive impact. We want to hear from you and engage in conversations that inspire and motivate us all to do more. So whether you're tuning in during your morning commute, while doing chores around the house, or on a break from your busy workday, we hope you'll find something valuable in each episode of Nonprofit Enthusiast Live. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nonprofit Enthusiast Live. I'm your host, Lasheena Williams, and I am so excited to be here with you all, kicking off the year and continuing the conversations on the basics of starting a nonprofit. If you are tuning in, catching us on replay, give us a hashtag replay in the chat box, and I thank you all so much for tuning in. Before we get started, a few things that I want to go over is last week we had Dr. Angela White Jones on with us. So this month we've been talking about just getting back to the basics of starting a nonprofit, nonprofit 101, and so forth. Our conversation was absolutely amazing. So if you missed that, I definitely encourage you to go back to the guide section and check that out. So today, with us talking about the basics of starting a nonprofit organization, going back to the basics if you're an existing organization and being really great at the basic things. I wanted to talk today about starting a nonprofit. And for those that are considering starting a nonprofit, or you may have just started a nonprofit, this would be a really good refresher. Also, to make sure that you covered all of your bases. And if you're existing nonprofit, this is a great place to kind of just kind of make sure that you hit all the boxes. So also feel free to drop any of your experiences in any of these areas so that we can help one another as we go along the nonprofit journey. So I am going to go ahead and get started. Let me pull up a few things. All right, so what I'm going to do is go over our starting a nonprofit checklist. We will drop the link to our social tree in the chat box so that you can grab it. It's nonprofitenthusiast.com /social-tree, but we'll drop that link in there. So if you want to grab this checklist, you can definitely do so there. But I just want to go over some of the since we're talking about the basics, nonprofit 101, I want to kind of go over some of these things and talk through it with you all. So the way we kind of start the nonprofit journey, we categorized it into 4 areas. 1, starting with your board development. 2, your nonprofit filings. 3, getting into your business planning. And 4, capacity building for your organization. So here you are getting ready to start your organization. You're like, where do I start? So a really good place to start is starting to identify your founding board members, not just identifying who they are, but also defining what are their roles. It's so easy, especially when you have a passion, just to be like, hey, come along. But are they the best individuals to be a part of your organization? And we like to say it's not only about them being a part of your organization, it's also about them sitting in the right seat within your organization. So a way to do that is through defining what are the duties of the board members that you are seeking. A good way is there's board matrices. I'm sorry, I can't even talk today. Out there that you can look up that can also help you. So what it would do is kind of tell you um, so different areas and characteristics of a certain board member, and it'll help you kind of identify, is this what I need for my organization. So um, not only identifying who your founding board members are, but also defining the duties of your board members that you are seeking. So that way, when you're approaching them, you're starting out from the very beginning, letting them know, hey, I would like for you to be a part of my founding board. Here's what we're looking at, and go ahead, start them through the application process. It's really good if you have a really good foundation, and start, even though you're starting your nonprofit, start it as if it's been running for years. It definitely helps down the road. um, so identify who those board members are. For the rule of thumb, you need at least three board members, and you can be one of those board members. So just take that and keep that in mind when identifying your three board members. And then you want to host your first board meeting. Some things that you might talk about in the board meeting is, one, you'll share as the founder. You'll share your heart, why you want to start this organization, what you're looking to do. You'll start thinking ahead, talking to them about what would business planning look like. What would the nonprofit filing process look like? So you'll kind of make recommendations there. You could say, hey, here, we already gave it to you, it's in the checklist. So here's the process under the filing section you see here. Here's the process of what we need to do to get started with our nonprofit organization. You'll identify who's going to be doing these filings. Is it someone within the board? Have you identified someone? Are you calling up nonprofit enthusiasts and we're going to help you with it? So during this first meeting, it's a really good time to kind of make that recommendation to the board and get the board approval on moving forward with whatever direction you all choose. And it's also a good time to review your bylaws. If you go into that first meeting with some draft bylaws that you've shared with the board, conflict of interest policy, whistleblower policies, and so forth, you will be ahead of the game in comparison to a lot of organizations starting out. So that's an area that you can start with. So identifying your board members, hosting your first board meeting, identifying what our process is going to look like as we're getting started. And I will say, and I'll talk a little bit about this when we get into capacity building, but at Nonprofit Enthusiasts, we have a roadmap designed for organizations from the very beginning, starting out where it's just, it may just be an idea and a passion, all the way up until your continuous growth stage. So you're not alone, is what I want you to know, in the journey. And as you're having these meetings and you need support, we're here to support you along the way. So yeah, so founding board development, that's that. So then, so you have your three board members, or at least your three board members. You got your bylaws, you got these things in order. The next thing is the nonprofit filing phase, where you are going to the Secretary of State. You're making sure that the name of your organization is available. You're developing and filing your articles of incorporation with the state. And then once you complete that, you're going to the IRS, applying for your employee identification number. And then you will file either the Form 1023, 1023EZ to obtain your 501c3. And if you're a like a membership organization, chamber, and so forth, which we do work with a lot, that would be a Form 1024 that you will be completing at that time. Something else you would look into is to see if your state does tax exemption. So, like in the state of Florida, you're able to waive taxes as a nonprofit organization, 501c3 organization. So, you once all of the other filings are completed, then you'll come back into the state. you'll file for your tax exempt status. And then one very important thing to make sure you complete, and most states have this, you have to complete, and they call it different things, charitable state solicitation registration, which pretty much that grants you permission to be able to fundraise and solicit funds within your state. This is something that many nonprofits often skip over. It's something that it's like somewhere like this, you'll just be tuning in and you'll just might hear and you're like, do we have that? And find that you have that within your state. You definitely don't want to miss that. Some states, once they find out you've been soliciting for years, and I've heard of organizations that this happened to, they will fine you. They'll charge you a fine for those years that you're out soliciting without completing this registration. So again, because you're in a nonprofit enthusiast group, you got all of these insiders to kind of get you started and on the right track with starting your organization. So definitely make sure that you look into that. So you have your filings completed, and I just want to make sure you all understand that this checklist goes over the basic. This is not an exhaustive list. There's things in between, such as opening up your bank accounts and so forth, that you would complete. But this is at least a good starting point as to some of those filings and some of those foundational pieces that you would want to complete when starting your organization. So I just want to make sure y'all know that as I go through this. Okay, cool. So we went over founding board development. We went over the nonprofit filing pieces. So everyone should be compliant. If you are existing organization, this is a great time to make sure, do we have our annual report completed with Secretary of State? Yes. Do we have our solicitation registration renewed if it applies? Yes. Are our taxes completed? Those type of things. It's a great time to kind of think about, are we compliant? Because we definitely do not want you all to lose your tax exempt status that you work so hard for as you continue to serve the community. All right. So then business planning, the fun part, but the part that we might dread, right? Because this is the part that, especially when you're really passionate, you just want to get started. It feels like it's slowing you down, but it really helps build a strong foundation for your organization. So some of those business planning pieces include developing your mission and your vision statement, which we can help you with. And we have some tips for helping you with doing that to make sure that you have a nice and concise, let me say it again, a concise mission and vision statement, not these 3 paragraph missions that I've been seeing, and so forth, but something concise. Because and before I go, um, let me just jump into it. So one thing I do want to say is, because I have been seeing some pretty long mission statements, and it's really hard for your staff, your volunteers, and others to really feel connected to your mission when it's that long. But we again have a framework for helping you through that process. So you're not alone. This part right here that seems so hard, we got you. We got you with all of this. So you can definitely just schedule a call with us, and we'll get you covered. And I'll drop our link to schedule. Actually, on the same social tree link, you can go there and schedule a call as well. All right. So mission and vision statement, your logic model. If you have your logic model from the very beginning as a starting nonprofit, you are set up for success. I'm telling you. And we can talk a little bit, and I could talk a lot about why and what that looks like, but you being able to develop what your strategies are, how you're going to accomplish them, what your expected outcome is going to look like from the very beginning is absolutely amazing. I like to say, you've heard me say this, if you go into a restaurant and there's nothing on the menu, what is the consumer going to buy? It's the same thing with your nonprofit. If a funder comes to you and there's nothing on your menu to offer, what are they going to invest in? So that's why I think a logic model is very key, especially at the beginning stages and continuous growth stages of your organization. And it can help you develop your strategic plan. Um, you're identifying your community need. And I talked about this story, and I'll continue to share it because I always feel like there's someone in the room that needs to hear this. When I was starting my nonprofit organization, I spent 2 years trying to create the perfect business plan. And someone told me who was doing similar work, what I aspired to do, just, let those that you serve help you develop that. Because in my brain, I'm trying to create this perfect plan, but there was not a perfect plan. And that was one of the best advice that they gave me, because through implementing the programs and implementing some of the work, that's how we grew our organization to where we are today and the type of programs that we offer. Because I did exactly what they said. I let those that we serve create what that looks like for us, and seeing what that their needs were, seeing what the community needs were, not just the needs that I assumed. Looking into what the research says about the area, what does it say about the age group that I'm working in? So just looking at what that overall need is, developing your marketing outreach plan, your financial plan. How are we going to get funded? And I am very like, if you work with me, I know we want to use our pockets to fund our entire organization, but if you as a founder are investing all of your dollars into your organization, that will at some point impact other areas of your life. So I'm very big at, especially as a public charity, us developing what does your fundraising plan look like from the very beginning, so others can be involved, and you'll be surprised others want to help your organization. It's just a matter of being able to communicate in a fashion, and let them know that you need help, and that you need support. So that's something from the very beginning, starting a nonprofit. Don't feel, it will feel at certain points like you're alone, but you are not alone. There are many people that want to support you. It's just a matter of having the right tools in your toolbox in order to tap into how can you maximize the relationships and the friends from our fundraising that you have to support you. So that recruit and train your volunteers and or your staff members. If you can get your volunteer process off the ground at this very time when starting your nonprofit organization, starting what the application process looks like, what does the recruitment process look like, what does the retention process look like. If you could do that from the very beginning, you are really going to be set up for success. Because unfortunately, sometimes when organizations get started, the volunteers will come into the organization not necessarily know what their role is or how can they contribute their superpower to the organization. So you having a plan for that will really help you so that everyone is walking in the same direction, working toward the same common goal. And you all hear me talk about it, similar to the collective impact framework, which I absolutely love. And then there's capacity building. It does not stop there. When you do this, you continue to build the infrastructure of your organization. So I will say this to you all: for new organizations, a lot of the times when they come to us, the first thing I am asked is, I want to get to the money. I'm just gonna say it. How do I get grants? I want to get to the money. And then what I would come back and ask, do you have these things, these foundational pieces? As a past funder, one of the biggest things is if you skip some of these sections, yeah, you might get through the grant process or get approved for the grant, but are you able to keep the grant going? It can be really hard on you. So a lot of what, and there are a lot of the reasons why we do what we do at Nonprofit Enthusiasts is to be able to get you ready, or keep you, if you are an existing organization, continue to keep you where you are. Matter of fact, take you to the next level, so that you can continue to increase your impact within the community. So I really encourage you, if you're thinking about starting a nonprofit organization, remember these things. Take a look at these things and know that these are going to be a part of your journey. I say that each part of this, the board development, the nonprofit filings, the business planning, the capacity build, all that is crucial and very important to the growth of your organization, and it's doable. And that's the cool thing. Guess what? When I started the organization, I wish there was a company like nonprofit enthusiasts to be able to walk alongside me. But you have support here. You have a community here that when you get stuck, you can drop it in here. You can head over and go ahead and schedule your consultation call with us now, and we can talk through how we can support you along your journey. You are not alone in any of this, but building a really solid and strong foundation is going to set your organization up for success in an even greater 2024. So if you are at that point, thinking about starting a nonprofit and just don't know where to start, I hope this helps clear you up with that. So that's what we're talking about this month. We're just getting back to the basics, nonprofit 101, starting an organization, and then also talking about some of those things as experienced nonprofit professionals and being in the field, those things that we've done years ago and continue to do now because they work. So that's what we're going to be talking about all month long. Um, you know, as far as homework, if there's any area of these that you found that, we didn't quite, we need to explore this area a little bit more, go ahead and take a look at that. If you're a new nonprofit and you've been talking about starting this nonprofit for a while, your homework is to go to our nonprofit enthusiast link and just go ahead and schedule a consult. Let's talk, and let's talk about how we can help you on your journey, make that nonprofit a reality in 2024. So we are here for you. We're here to support you, and I appreciate you all in the group. So thank you all so much for that. And before I close out, let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna try to get a little fancy and see if I could do multiple things at once. We'll see. So um I'm so excited. Like as we start this new year, we have a new website, y'all. And I am absolutely in love with it and everything that's available to you all through the website. Let me see if I can pull it up. So if you have not checked out our website, please go over there, check it out. It's full of resources and information and areas to make things a lot easier. Let me see. Here we go. Look at our website. It is absolutely amazing. Okay, so really quick before I close out today's session, y'all, please go over to nonprofitenthusiast.com. You'll find information about all of our experience, how we've been doing this for years, and we're here to support you along your journey. Over $38 million managed in grant funds, over $9 million successfully raised and counting. We have a combined over 40 years of experience in this sector. We are here to support you, y'all. Like we've kind of over the years we've learned, we made the mistakes and we've learned from it, and we've captured the frameworks, and we got it all for you. So come on over. You'll be able to check out all of our services, whether it's consulting services, coaching, filing services. If you're that nonprofit ready to get started, go ahead. And guess what? All you got to do is start your journey, click here, and it's ready to go. Like if you're like, I don't really need a console, I just want to go, just go. Click on starting your filing, and we're ready. We got it all set up for you to get started. Our Grant Made Simple program. If you're a nonprofit and you're ready to bring in more grants in 2024, I definitely advise you to check that program out, and our Strategic Impact Development program. Those two programs right there. Our Fire. Those are some of our frameworks that we have tried, tested, and I'm telling you, they work. So I really encourage you to check them out. And then we also provide support to corporations and funding organizations of nonprofits. So if you are in that category, feel free to schedule a call with us there. Yeah, so that's the website. And let me show you a few other things. You want to hear more about us, you're new, our case studies and all of that, you could check that out here. This place right here is cool. Our blogs, y'all. Check out our blogs. We have some amazing blogs that I say if you just want to continue to grow within the nonprofit arena, just kind of come through here and check it out. One of our most recent blogs, Elevating Nonprofits Through Board Retreats. Some of you are planning your retreats now, and if you need a team to kind of come in and help you facilitate that process, and I talked about that at the end of December, the benefits of doing that. Go ahead and give us a call, but definitely check out our blog section. It's so much resources in here. And I kind of went over our services, our university, our store, our contact. Y'all, check out our website. It is amazing. I'm so excited for it. And I'm excited about all the resources we'll continue to pour into it to make available for you also. Just wanted to share that really quick before we head out. So www.nonprofitenthusiast.com. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to our next few sessions. We have a special guest. Well, all of our guests are very special, but we have a guest coming on that I'm kind of waiting till we get a little closer to kind of tease up a little. But she has been in the industry for a while, has written some amazing books to help nonprofit organizations. I'm super excited for it. She has helped pave the way for a lot of nonprofit professionals like myself. So I'm super excited. So stay tuned. You definitely want to stay tuned for the upcoming lives, and we'll continue to share more as we get closer. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.